News 13 wishes anyone who is not participating in this year's Purge a safe evening, and for those releasing the beast, a successful cleanse. Good luck.
There's an unwritten Purge rule, Sergeant. Don't save lives. Tonight we take lives.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Really hope you enjoyed our first episode back in 6 weeks. Interview with actor and one of the nicest bad guys ever, Jasper Cole. We talked Jason Takes Manhattan. Yet another person that we've interviewed. I think that's 5 that worked on Jason Takes Manhattan. Just working with Dee Wallace, him knowing Susie Lanier Bramlett, former guest. So much more. What a great chat. And the 1-800-CONTACTS commercial. The fact that a bird almost bit his eye off and he can laugh about it. But before we talk about the sequel that he was in, where his scene got cut from the movie, but his breakdown of it, when you see what was happening during that scene, you could guess how crazy it was. In the Purge Anarchy, before I talk about this movie that I absolutely loved, and if you're watching on video, you'll see the shirt I'm wearing, but if you're not, I'll tell you, it's a Death Wish 3 shirt of Charles Bronson, because that's the vibes that Frank Grillo gives me. But I got to introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you doing?
I'm okay, Doug. How are you doing?
Good. It's good to be back doing this, man. It's been 2 months, and I got to say, like, just to be a little, not somber, but like, you've been very good through everything that's going on, like reaching out about my son and you and so many people that I don't even know, like on Twitter and stuff, and people that listen. So he's doing good, and I'm so happy that we're back doing this. It's been 2 months since we recorded it.
You know, that was a nice way to start it, because I was going to come in a little hard on this movie.
Wow.
But now I have to, to say thank you. And I'm super glad that your son is doing well. And, it's good to be back.
Good.
However, I wish we came back with a different kind of movie. I love Frank Grillo. Frank Grillo is awesome in this movie, but the movie's okay.
Oh,
the movie.
Yes, I'll agree. The movie is okay. But what I can say is the thing that I don't understand, and I wish Frank Grillo was born 20 years before, because he would have been a canon superstar or like any of those like 80s, 90s. He would have been in all those movies. It's really crappy when you look at his IMDb. I know he's been in a lot of great movies, but he should be this role all the time.
He's always that side guy. Like, he's never like owned the movie, and he easily could have. He could have been any of those, action stars of the 80s, 90s. So he was a great part of this movie. However, I saw the first Purge. It was good, a different kind of concept. But to me, I hated the whole storyline of this one. I did not like it. And I don't think there were really, outside of Frank Grillo and maybe the grandfather, there weren't any nice characters that I cared about. The characters are all annoying.
I like Carmen Elijah, Ava from she was on The Judge. She was a love interest on The Judge.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So they literally know Frank Grillo's character for maybe half hour, and they act like they know him, that they're trying to tell him that he's a better person than what he wants to do. There's like the way the daughter talks to him, and the couple that's always arguing. They're really not likable to me. And, I have a problem with the Purge itself. And yeah, well, here's my thing. So obviously everybody knows what the Purge is about. The main story of what the Purge is. And if you don't know, I guess it's considered a holiday. Is it?
It is a holiday. Yeah. For 12 hours, there's amnesty. There's no rules, and murder is legal.
Okay. So with that being said, when it snows, people don't leave the house. When it is like a torrential downpour, people don't leave the house. So a day that the Purge is going to happen, why are people out? Why are people out and about? Like, how about sick day that day, stay home, call in sick, whatever it is. No, people are out and about, like, all right, there's gonna be murder in about an hour, but let's do like last minute food shopping.
I would not even be close to it. But no, we worked for a company that would probably made us come in.
That is true. I mean, we don't have to name names, but yeah.
No, we won't name names. But no, that's always funny too. Like, why was anybody on the street at all? Or like, oh, dude. So we can get right into it because it really happens really quick.
Is this a national holiday or is it just
It's a national holiday.
Okay.
No, it's national.
Okay, so
it's the new founding fathers. They did it to basically get rid of poor people, so there's no people that are on food stamps. They can save money based on that and not have to pay for Medicaid and stuff like that.
Okay, so before you go any further, so if that's the case, and clearly only psychopaths are out at night doing the purge,
Yes.
wouldn't it get less and less people each year?
Oh,
Like,
I would think so.
And so at a certain point, you're going to have like 10 people left because everybody's killing each other. So how can they possibly keep going on with this purge? Because if you have 12 hours to and everybody's out, all the crazy people are out there, you're not going to have that many people left at the end of the night.
Exactly. And I have a better question I was going to ask you later, but you kind of like mentioned it now. Like, where do people find their purge groups? In this movie, we saw a bus, like in the montage scene, a bus of men in like these weird costumes, just shooting out of bus windows at people. So like, where do you find these people online?
Well, this movie has, so I know you think of a Charles Bronson movie. I see it as more of a Warriors kind of movie where Frank Grillo and his group are just on the run from everybody and kind of Mad Max. Like they had the bus with the crazy people and everything else. But okay, so this is a purge that you're in these groups. Would you trust anyone in your group that literally they feel right? So why would you even want to be in a group?
Yeah, I think you know what made this movie more interesting. I think if again, that's what I was asking about the groups. Like, how are people meeting up? If there was like some kind of like incentive for your body count, I don't know how you'd like maybe take a picture next to the body or something, but there must have been some like, because here's a scene that freaks me out, and I think I might have the clip, but it doesn't matter. But the scariest part of this whole movie to me is not like the truck that opens the back with the machine gun, which is scary as shit.
Wait, that has a butcher in the back of the okay?
Yeah, why is he wearing that? He's not chopping people up. I don't understand what he's doing.
And where did they get the high-tech stuff? Because it was very high-tech in there.
Well, that's from the government. They work for the government. Those guys.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. All right, never mind.
You mean not Josh Brolin? That's what he looked like? No, the scariest was the guy you saw almost, he wasn't whistling, but he should have been. When the purge first started, he walks out of his door and he's just like casually walking to start snipering people from a rooftop. That's scary as shit.
That I think the masks were pretty creepy. You know, like the guy just walking the street with a machete, swinging it back and forth. Like, I mean, you know, I think it had a lot of things that could have went well. And then it's not really a twist, but the whole thing at the end, I didn't like. You know, the concept of what the government was doing with all the rich people. Like I didn't. It kind of changed them. Like I like the fact that they were on the run in the streets, you know, and he's taking care, like the gangs going after them. That was cool. The second part of the movie,
yeah, I didn't like the idea of it. I just liked, again, like when it comes to these movies, it's not like when we watch a movie like Tango and Cash or Cobra, we're like, you know what? This is so great that they put them in this predicament. Yeah. But I like the predicament from this movie at the end because Frank Grillo in that scene, I think, is so great. He's like an over-the-top action star. But let's take it from the top. So I never knew this was like a Blumhouse movie, and Universal did this movie. So like this movie had probably a pretty decent budget. So there's obviously a ton of extras that are in the movie, and the setting is pretty good. But so you get right in the beginning of the movie talking about like bosses like who don't care. How about the freaking owner of the diner? You have Carmen Elaggio, and you had to have her friend that we find out later how like horny she is, right? That sort. She says to Ava, she goes, "I wish he was sniffing on my ass." It's like, whoa.
Well, the fact that she was all over Frank Grillo later on, you know, and then. Well, we'll get to what she does later on. But but again, like, do you really have to work the day of the purge? Like, I mean, like, it doesn't make sense. And like, she's walking home, right? Like she was walking home.
Yeah.
I mean, like that doesn't make sense. Like it just like why take that chance that for whatever reason that you don't make it home or whatever. Like I don't. And it seems that everybody just puts up boards that absolutely don't work because everybody got into every building that they needed to get into. Like so, I mean, except for the one house that had like, the rich house that had, I guess, electric metal windows coming down.
Oh, the rich guy at the end of the movie?
Yeah. So, but outside of that, why even bother? Like, this is the third year of the Purge?
This was, so I don't know what year the first movie was set in. This one's set in 2023. And I told you I started watching the next one after this. That one's set like 12 years later, and Frank Grillo looks the same. Kind of weird, but that movie has a pretty good cast. But no, so I think the end of the movie, and people listening can quote me, I guess, but I think that's a throwback to the first one because that's the whole concept of the first one that Ethan Hawke and his wife, Ethan Hawke designs like the home security equipment. So that's why I guess people are going after him in the first movie, but that's what the security equipment looked like in the first one, the one at the end. So maybe it's that.
I don't know. That sounds like a reach. So you're saying that he's supposed
reach
to be
around.
Like, whoa. I think you watched the wrong movie.
I did. I watched The Splurge.
Ew. Well, so you're saying that that's supposed to be Ethan Hawke or just the guys?
No. It's not that it's Ethan Hawke. Just the way the equipment was, the home security. But it was different. Nobody else had that. Like nobody else had that throughout the whole movie.
Well, because the whole movie they weren't going into the rich neighborhoods. They were in basically the ghettos the whole time.
They were, yeah.
So I mean, which would make sense because if I'm going to purge, if I'm going to purge, not that I'm for it, and I wouldn't do it, I would only go to the rich areas, right? Maybe you do a little murder, you steal some jewelry,
Yeah, why not? It's legal.
I mean, that's what I mean. So like, why would you focus just on like people have nothing? Because that's what it seemed like they were doing.
Yeah, and another thing that made no sense to me was for 12 hours it's not legal, right? Like you can't get in trouble. Well, it is legal, I mean. So you don't get in trouble for anything. What about the people that are doing it beforehand and like messing with people or like cutting their brake line? Could they get arrested before this whole thing started? Or are you liable afterwards?
Well, yeah, but yeah. You know what? I didn't even think about that. Right. I guess if you get, because they did say crime was down. They said, what did they say? They had like a whole list of everything that like works because of the purge. So so I wonder if they got caught, what would happen? Like what's the punishment?
And you know what? I didn't see one cop the whole movie anyway. Well, should the cops be out or they're home too?
Wait, you want to be a cop out during the purge?
No, I don't want to be a cop, but I'm saying in the movie we didn't see one cop. We saw the military.
Because the movie takes place during the purge. Who wants to be out there besides psychos and people that want to drive around during the purge?
I know.
And if you are that kind of person that wants to go out there during the purge, would you just run out there and start yelling and shooting anywhere? Like they had a few people that really had no plan. They just really like, as soon as they hear the siren go off, they're just running around trying to find people. Like making themselves such an easy target because they died right away. There was like a guy right in the beginning that died, a woman, I think, right away, died right away. It's funny. Like I would think I would have a plan. Like if I'm going to purge, I think I would do a sniping thing. I think I'd play it safe and just go somewhere where they lock the roof. No one can get up there and just, start picking people off.
No. And then I think this again, just that you said that, like a couple people die right away. So like, I don't get that's why I think there should be incentive. So all these people on the bus are on their same team. Then the two guys that are on the street with the guns, they hold their guns up to other people purging and in the back of that truck and they get shot with like a big machine gun.
That's what I mean. Like there was no plan. They were just ridiculous.
Yeah. I did kind of enjoy the guy roasting people on the street. And again, so many of these people didn't come back. Even the cop that was hitting on Ava at the diner, he's been in a bunch of stuff. Like he was like a cop on Pretty Little Liars, like in a main role, like around the same time that this movie was out.
You watch Pretty Little Liars?
It's pretty good. Yeah. No, it's pretty good mystery. Okay. Pretty good. And the new one's actually pretty good too.
It's a high school girls show. Really? Come on.
I liked
All right.
it. I saw Lucy Hale in concert, and she was a country singer. There was like 30 people. It's pretty cool. We were doing the podcast. I would have been like, "Hey, can I interview you?"
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But we were not. But so no, you had this one guy in the street like roasting people, and I'm like, "Oh, this guy's gonna be back later," because he was kind of funny. He went to the one guy. He's like, "Oh man, you should just use your hands, sir." And he's like hitting on Ava, which that was another creepy thing. Was all the men in this movie went to the women like, "Hey, I'll protect you tonight." That was like the pickup line. "Hey, I'll save you during the purge, baby."
And that guy does look like he's in every movie in the gang, like the gang movie. The one that lived in an apartment. He's in he plays a gang member in every movie.
From Fast and the Furious to any movie that has that character, he plays it. But in this one, he almost seems like obviously he's drunk in the later scene, but it almost seems like he's like possessed. He's acting like really different.
He's just he's probably high. I mean, he looked like he definitely is on something, and I mean, he's creepy as anything, So like listen, you knew you weren't going to see the last of him when you first saw him when he's hitting on her the minute she walked into the building. So
creepy,
right.
Very creepy,
very creepy.
So you mentioned the annoying couple before. At first, I thought they were brother and sister.
That would have been a more interesting story.
Because they were very ominous about like what their relationship was, and then finally, like
I know
the third cut to them, because this movie did a lot like movie A, movie B, movie C. We get Frank Grillo in a bachelor apartment with just a bed, practicing shooting his gun, and then we cut to to their brother and sister, and then we found out really at the end of one of their little scenes, it was like, "That's what I think we should tell your sister." That we're getting separated. I'm like, oh my God.
They made it like it was a little twist coming on. Like they would like everybody's guessing what are they, and then they had it like it was a little weird. But I got to tell you, like I actually jumped in one scene, and it's such a simple little scene. But when that guy popped up by that car, the guy with the mask. Right, like when they were in the park, I actually jumped. I was like, I was not expecting that. The rest of the movie, I didn't jump at all, but that stupid little scene, I actually jumped.
Yeah, those guys are creepy, and again, that part, obviously, there was a twist with them, a little twist, but I don't know. I wish there was more of a like the fact that not James Brolin was the bad guy. I don't know. I wish there was like somebody that Frank Grillo had like a one-on-one with, because he really didn't. He didn't really have that one-on-one. He obviously took out a bunch of people, but you want like that head bad guy for that hero to square off with, because I think Frank could have done something like that.
Oh, absolutely. And why did they pick that couple and then try to follow them the rest of the movie? They were, I mean, that couple was where? At a store or like, where were they?
Yeah. Like a store. Yeah.
Right. So they easily could have taken anybody. Why they like say, all right, you know what? Let's get this couple. Who knows how many miles they're going to be able to go before their brakes, give out or whatever. The steering gives out, and we'll follow them. Like I feel like they went through a lot to get just one couple, because they didn't mean anything. They just needed people for the end of the movie. So
unless they showed us as the audience, like, or that I'm not saying it was a cut scene. It's not like they're like two white people, so it's not like an exotic bunch. But if it was like, hey, if you find these two kind of people, we'll give you $250,000. Because, dude, the fact that the father, which we can kind of mention that real quick right now, another guy in a million things over the years, he plays Ava's father. He's like sick, and he sneaks out into a limo, and then he leaves a note that says, "Hey, I sold myself to a rich family."
Well, let's build it up a little bit. I mean, like they show you a nice home life between her daughter, the father. Well, first of all, and this happened a few times in the movie, everybody's eating like a nice peaceful dinner during chaos. That's murder. They're hearing gunshots outside and people screaming, and everybody's like serving dinner like it's like nothing going on out there. Do you think you could eat? Like, you think you could sit down and just have a normal conversation, knowing that one, anybody could break in at any time? Like I think during the purge, I would try to find a hiding spot in my house and not move for 12 hours.
I know. And then I think maybe because this movie's a jump from the first one, maybe because I think this is the 6th year of the Purge or the 9th. Not saying I would change or you would change after so long, but maybe it's like, all right, we're used to it already. Let's just eat the friggin' dinner.
Or how about like build a safe house or whatever? Like what was that movie with Jodie Foster? A safe room
Safe
or
house.
what? Okay, safe house. So how about like, you have enough time to build and construct a room. You have what? 12 months to
Panic room. I'm sorry.
panic room. Okay, so you had to make fun and you were wrong. Okay, so but how about make a panic room? Or something that's better than just a bunch of boards that you put up last minute. I mean, like, seriously, like you have enough time to build a room that say, hey, for 12 hours, let's all go in this room, lock it, nobody can get in there, and we're never going to have to die.
Yeah, that's right. Why are they doing it last minute? Couldn't they have done it last night? Is that against Purge rules? Like, plan ahead?
And literally, they're just taking a couple of nails and putting wood on the wall. Like these animals have guns, machine guns, flamethrowers, and every other weapon. And you think the one wood with 4 nails is going to stop it?
Yeah. And that's the one thing. And of all the weapons that we saw like the baseball bat, machine guns. Okay. Where are you buying a flamethrower?
On Amazon.
On Amazon. And those were like rando people that bought the flamethrowers. That was like in that cutscene when you first see everybody doing the Purge. Like you saw somebody just walking with a flamethrower.
Well, I mean, it's, I don't know. Anyway, so get back to the father. So, you see this nice family and they're talking and he says, I'm going to go take a nap.
He does,
so he goes to take a nap and, the mother and daughter are talking. So, you see them interacting and then they realize, I don't know if did they hear the noise first or they realized he was missing?
No, they didn't hear anything. No, I think he was already gone when the noise happened, right? Or no, you're right. They heard the noise, and then I think the daughter said, "Let me check on him." And she said,
"Right."
Ava was like, "No, he said he was sleeping." And she's like, "I don't care. I want to see if he's all right." And then, boom.
And he left a note said he saved them money. He basically sold himself.
$100,000.
Yeah, each. No, I think it was each, wasn't it? Or
I
thought
don't
it was
know.
100,000 each.
And did you think that in this movie they would find him?
Nope. Well, they didn't give you much chance because the minute after they read the note and they showed where he was, he literally got.
You thought that was right then and there? I thought that was in their heads. I thought that was like a dream.
No,
like they were imagining that. Oh, okay.
No. I thought it was like as they're reading it, they're showing you where he is. They're reading more, and they're showing these people standing around him, and he's sitting there in the middle of a room, and you obviously know what's gonna, go. I didn't think it would be like machetes. I'm thinking like, all right, they're gonna. I don't know. I wasn't sure. I didn't think machetes, and they all now. Okay, you're a rich person, and they start the Purge. How do you get that? Like, you've never done any kind of murder or crime, and somehow you get the urge to hack someone with a machete? I don't think that happens.
I don't know how. Yeah, just because that goes off, like you have that in you. You know what? I'm going to murder someone. And what does it matter? Like, to pay $100,000, the whole part of this law, the reason the new founding fathers did this was to get like crime off the streets. And, like in this movie, like mostly poor people trying to round them up. And the fact that you're just paying $100,000 to kill someone in your own home, it's not really the Purge. You're kind of murdering.
So is the Purge really working? Because it's not, because clearly most of the movie that we're watching is about people buying people to murder in their own home.
Well, if you remember what James Brolin says, the reason that they're out doing what they're doing, the military killing people, is because the people don't want to kill as much anymore. So they're trying to supplement it by sending the military out. So maybe at the first few years, people were like, yeah. And then they're like, eh.
Oh, this is getting boring.
Just another March 21st. Let me just go to sleep.
Oh,
maybe
I don't know. I just don't think that if you've never, like, these are rich people. So I'm assuming outside of embezzling money or anything like that, they've never done anything serious.
Yeah.
There's no way people that are rich like that are going to have the urge to start killing. No. And okay. And if you did, like, just say for argument's sake, you're like, all right, you know what? I'm curious what it's like to kill someone. So I think most people will probably take a gun, do a quick, machete. That's probably like one of the brutal ways to go. Like, you have to be like super crazy to want to kill someone with a machete.
Crazy, and then you have to be good, because if you do it once and you don't kill them, then they're just like there.
Or that's part of the fun. Like, all right, I sliced an ear off. Now, let me see if I can slice another limb off, and
a little limb here, limb there. So here's that one, because right after this is like when the purge begins, and I want to share this clip because we talked about a few of the wackos in this, but just a few of them are really good. Here's the guy that gives you nightmares because he looks so calm. He looks like he's like a gym teacher, and he's just like,
he looks like a guy that would be like a serial sniper.
Gym teachers. He looks like Mr. Middleton from my middle school.
He looks like a slaughterhouse guy, the neighbor.
Oh yeah. Orville Ketchum. There's the flamethrower guy. People got pit bulls. People just have every single kind of gun.
I wouldn't trust one person in this group.
In the bus?
Anywhere.
Yeah. This is crazy. The bus is the one that makes no sense to me. Like, look at that guy. What's he doing? Like, what's that guy's deal?
I gotta tell you though, the music in the movie was intense.
Yeah. Here's the guys we talked about. They're like, yeah, let's purge. And then like look at them, and then boom.
There was absolutely no plan for those two guys.
No, they were just like, let's purge. Really, dude? You really want to purge?
And then it's like walking calmly in the street. Like, so they're definitely newbies. They're like purge newbies.
Purge virgins. Purgeons. They're purgeons.
So hearing that music again, and there was a lot of music in this movie. Like, I almost feel like there was a point where there was like music for like a good half hour. Even when there was dialogue, there was just music going on in the background. Yeah. That was, that was a good part of the movie. Like, it was very intense music that was going on. It had its bright moments.
No, it was a good, the soundtrack was great. And no, it did have bright moments. There's only so much you can do, I guess, with what they were doing, because having that other storyline, if it was that, like, just like vigilante type movie, and it was just Frank, like me personally, I would have preferred that. But it was just Frank just killing people with no other storyline, like, to worry about, like, the side characters. Because you had so many people had all these little things going on. You had the couple that was going to get divorced, like, as soon as this was over. And that kind of obviously changed, but a little bit.
So this is a concept that they made like 5 movies on. How do you have 5 movies of the same? Like, you really can't deviate from the actual purge, So every movie has a 12-hour purge, and was it a good like big series that everybody liked? I mean, I don't know, like how many times
people like 2 and 3. I think it ranks this one. Then the next one, election year, and then the first one, and then the other ones are like a prequel, and one's called The First Purge.
Okay.
And then the other one, I think the other one's like another like sequel in the future. But the next one, I told you I started watching it. That was pretty cool because the concept of that one was like, it was even farther into the future, and people were like over it, like over the purge. And then they were trying to take out the candidate who was the blonde chick from Lost. She's in a ton of stuff.
But Frank Grillo now is all of a sudden working for her for the government.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, so, I watched the trailer afterwards because I know you said you were watching, and I'm like, why is Doug watching it so fast? And then I'm thinking like, all right, Frank Grillo must have made it. So
100%. No, just all those movies. Like, give me an Olympus Has Fallen. Like, I could watch 1,000,000 of those movies because you know what's going to happen. Obviously, with this one, they don't have enough Frank Grillo, even though he's in all of the movie. There's just not a lot of him doing what is the best part of the movie for him to do.
Well, it's funny. If this movie came out, say, like in the 80s and like early 90s, I could see like, say, Van Damme being in this role. Like being on the run, like wasn't he in a movie called how did this get made? Hard Target kind of thing.
Hard Target,
right? Like I mean, like so imagine like Van Damme in this role easily could have, and then you know what? Imagine how big the movie would have been if you take this movie, this concept, the exact same movie, throw Van Damme in the 80s, it would have been huge.
Oh no, totally. No. And then throughout the whole movie, Ava's daughter is watching. She's watching. What's his name? He was a great actor. He was on The Wire. Michael Kenneth Williams.
Yep.
he plays Carmelo, and he's like the guy of like the underground like resistance against.
I didn't realize that the daughter looked. I mean, the mom looks very young. So I didn't. Yeah. I thought the daughter was way too old to be her daughter. Like, because I thought they were sisters at first. Like, I didn't realize that was her daughter.
No. It was the daughter. I forgot her name throughout the whole movie. I just kept writing Ava's daughter. I know she called her by her name like so much, but no. So she's watching a lot of videos about him. But dude, so then this is where it starts to get crazy. We just obviously showed that clip, and so Frank's car. So Frank's driving around in this car. Like, is that just for the purge?
It absolutely is just for the purge. It was bulletproof. Why would he drive it any other time?
Now, do you think he's purged before?
No.
Okay.
I mean, is he an ex-cop? Like, what is he? He's an ex-cop, right?
Well, we just find out at the end of the movie, the guy calls him Sergeant. So for the whole movie, he has no name.
Right.
At all.
But but the whole movie, like I said, the people that he's with, he's known for 30 minutes. And they all act like they've known him forever. You know, but it's whatever. But yes, that car was. Don't forget when he was at his house, he was, I think, looking at, you saw little scenes of his son in the pictures. Like, you saw like something going on. So I think he was definitely building this up. So I thought his son died in a purge.
Ah, okay.
That's what I thought they were going.
Yeah. No, I didn't know really. I guessed it was something obviously with the son, because they showed that and he was in that like crappy little like apartment. So he was like planning this, because it's like once a year, there's no laws. So I guess you can get back at everyone. So here's a point to kind of go back to what we mentioned before. Like when the couple is getting followed with the gang that's like the Dead Presidents gang, it reminds me of the movie Dead Presidents, like that mask.
Yep.
And when they're getting followed and the car just stops, the power steering breaks, the car won't start again. Like when they're walking around, like I know they're screaming and asking for help. Like, what if the house you knock on is purging? You knock on the door, you're like, "Oh, can I please come on? We're not going to do anything." And they're like, "Poof, poof." Like you can't trust anyone during this time.
You know what? That would be a good way to purge. Like, leave your front door open, so when people on the street, they run in there looking for a safe, and you shoot them right away. You'd build up the points right away.
And there was points involved. Yeah, you can have a whole. You could set up like candy on the front porch. Hey, come in for. Hey, people that don't like the purge, come on in. We're watching movies. We got marshmallows.
Now, do you think there's like sanitation for the dead bodies? Like, who cleans up the dead bodies in a purge?
Oh, the government's got to be paying for that, I would hope, right?
So that you think there's a job of just people, instead of picking up garbage, they're just picking up dead bodies?
Yeah, for what? Yeah, you guys think you hate the purge? March 21st, March 22nd sucks to work for the city.
The garbage men that complained during New Year's Eve. Yeah. Imagine having that job.
Yeah,
that's just New Year's. That's just confetti with human body parts.
And do you have like a funeral? Like, obviously you have a funeral for any loved one that dies, but like the funeral home's gonna be booked.
Maybe. Well, that's probably a good business to be in. Or do you think it's just one mass like funeral?
Yeah, maybe one big one. We're here to honor Bob, Sally, Joe, Smith. Just like.
So, do you think there's purges in, like, say, Beverly Hills, where all like the celebrities live? Like Pauly Shore's running out there. I like, out of all the celebrities, I mentioned Pauly Shore, who hasn't made a movie in 50 years.
Yeah, the last movie he made was Pauly Shore is Dead, is the name of the movie, where he faked his own death. That'd be a good concept for one of these movies. I think that's what's good about like some of those sequels that they're like, oh, this concept works. Let's put it somewhere else. Again, perfect example. Olympus Has Fallen. Okay. The White House. Boom. We did that already. Let's go to London. Now, so let's do that one. All right, let's go here. So no, to take it to different places like Beverly Hills would work. Any different city or scenery.
If they did like a Beverly Hills one with a bunch of like B-list, like, you know, or has-been actors, like a Sharknado, but like The Purge, that'd be great.
Yeah, dude. But you got to have D. Snyder. D. Snyder.
Oh, he would win.
Have to be.
He would win. He would win.
No, 100%. You'd have to do that. So then we have. So now we're kind of at the part. So we get Diego. This is like minutes after, right? It's like minutes after that, Ava realizes her dad's gone. Then that's when they hear the sound outside. And then that's when they look out the window and they see like, oh my God, why is the military coming in here? Then Diego's outside. And he's like, you in there? And he shoots. He just looks possessed.
Why do you think they gave him the most rotten teeth I've ever seen? I think in a movie. Like, why? Like, I granted, like, are they assuming he doesn't brush his teeth? Because they were so yellow and like cruddy, like they really were. Like, I just like why he almost looked like the pirates look like in the Pirates of the Caribbean when the bad pirates.
What if he's listening right now and he's like, those weren't fake teeth, man?
Can you imagine? Like, what? He's like crying now in the mirror. I had a big role here.
Oh man, no, I'm telling you, I know he was probably on drugs. He was probably whatever, like for the character, he just looked crazy. And yeah, he just looked possessed to me. Like he was
and again, look how easy he broke into that house. And he's drunk and high, so like his mind is clearly not all there, and he was able to get in 2 seconds. What did they think that was going to do? Like, so not only would I board up the doors, wouldn't you like? You see this in movies all the time when someone's trying to block a door. When you like move the furniture in front of the door,
yes.
put the chair underneath the door handle. Like everything they do in movies, nothing. Just 4 nails and some wood.
I just realized this. So when they look out the window, remember? They're like, what, 3 or 4 stories up?
Yeah.
Why are they barricading the window?
Well, there's probably, what is it, the fire escape?
Maybe. They barricade the fire escape window and use that wood for the door. Because all they did was, it was a lock.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Well, how about, like, the fact that they put wood up, but they made it enough that there's cracks in there so they could see through the wood that they put up. Like, so they clearly didn't even board it up all the way. Like, wouldn't you use like plywood more than just like boards that?
Yeah.
Cause So there wasn't, again, this is not the first time the purge has happened. So there was no planning whatsoever. So I don't feel bad for them.
Yeah. It should have been weeks before. It's like trying to put Christmas lights Christmas Eve.
Why wouldn't you make like metal bars, put them in the windows like they have in prisons? Just put metal bars in there. No one's breaking there.
You have in prisons. Just call the prison manufacturer and be like, hey, can I get those metal bars that you have in prison? Oh, sure. But no, I would barricade every door.
I'm still for safe. I would make a, what do we call it? It's not safe house. What was the movie?
Panic room.
Panic room. Every house should have a panic room. That's it. Yeah. Done. Or put like every movie has that board that lifts up that you can hide things under. I think we talked about it a few times.
Yes.
Make a board that you go underneath and no one would find you.
Yeah, Mirror 3, the Statham Mechanic 2.
Listen, hide in the oven. No one ever looks in the oven.
I can't fit in my oven. I can't fit in my oven.
You can't fit in the oven. Listen, if the purges happen, you're going to find a way to fit in the oven.
You're going to
Just make sure you turn it off first.
Yeah. And then Diego, he creepily licks her face.
Oh,
then he hears someone and he doesn't think like, he's like, yeah, she's mine. And then he starts shooting. And then he gets shot up. And then they're hiding in the closet. So here's something that never circled back. And I wonder if they did that because I didn't finish the next one. But in the next one, it's obviously more political because it has, there's more people involved like senators and presidents and stuff. But in this one, the guy opens the closet, the 2 military guys, grabs Ava and her daughter and says, Big Daddy, we have 2 for your personal purge. First thing I'm thinking, I'm like, the president. They never said what city this movie was in.
Wait, you think they call the president Big Daddy?
Or maybe it was Sandler.
I thought it was the butcher was Big Daddy.
It could be. I was just thinking like,
yeah, I know.
For the military to do that, it has to be somebody that we're going to see later. It wasn't the rich people at that party because we never met anybody really from that party. The only person that really like talked that we knew anything about was the auctioneer lady.
You know what? That's a good, like, they never tell you who Big Daddy is.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You know what? We're going to have to look at IMDb, see if there's anyone listed as Big Daddy.
Because if it was like a president or somebody rich, that would have been, that could have been another thing for them to escape. I wouldn't have minded that.
There should have been one person in that rich party that really could, like, because there's only that one. Maybe the woman's called Big Daddy.
Yeah, maybe.
So I want to go back to one thing you just said, and this is a cliche you see in every single movie that never works out. Why do people hide in the closet? Because everybody thinks like the closet is the best hiding spot, and it never works out. Everybody's always either under the bed or in the closet, or the two spots that everybody hides, and no one ever is safe there. Everybody's always found.
Well, you sound like an expert on it. Where would you hide?
I said the oven.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, think about it. I mean, every move Taken, she was grabbed under. Commando, grabbed under the bed. You know, everything. I mean, I'm just saying there's got to be better spots than, you know, the closet and, you know, I don't know.
I think what you need to do is, obviously you need better spots, but you need more spots. So buy a lot of like cabinets, buy a lot of trunks, just a whole apartment with things you can hide in.
How about the curtain? Wrap yourself in the curtain, stand up.
That's true. You could do that.
No one ever looks in the curtains, especially if they're open. If they're closed, they might look.
Yeah. Put a lampshade on your head. Stand still. You never know. Something could happen.
That's a good idea.
No,
or
but that's
in the couch. Right. Put the cushions on top of you.
Yes. Yeah. That couch is real lumpy. People need to get creative because the closet does not work.
It does not work at all. And
because you want to look through it, and then at that point they can see you because you're looking through. You might move, but if you're like under the cushions, maybe
you know what's a better spot than under the bed? How about under the mattress?
Yes.
So you have the springs, you have the mattress on top of you. If you have a big enough mattress, you're going to just be flat with the springs. No one's going to see you. 100%. That's where people should go. Yeah.
That is the good spot.
Or forget springs. Everybody has boards now. So you'll be laying on top of those boards. Tell me that's not a good spot.
It's perfect. And if you know a purge is going to happen, you could maybe put in a special mattress for that night. Then you just have it all set up there. You have a whole you cut out.
You hollow it out, and there you go. They'll never find you.
Nobody. That's a great one.
You know what?
Man.
Next time you're playing hide and go seek with your daughter, you got to do that. She'll never find you.
When I was a kid, we played hide and go. It's so funny when you think about like when you're smaller, like playing hide and go seek. Our house was like not even that big, and we used to play on the first floor. My go-to hide spot that nobody would find me, and really like nobody would ever find me to look. So nobody knew that's where it was. Even people on my team, I didn't want to tell them where it was. My mom had like a hair cutting room in her house where she used to cut people's hair like at night and the weekends. And we had another fridge, like an extra fridge for like soda and stuff. I used to climb on top of it like a cat, and I used to sit like crisscross applesauce on top of it. And because nobody was allowed to turn the lights on, or you're like, we're never going to be able to play again. That was my spot. And then it'd be like, all right, it's over. And then I quietly have to hop down. It was the best.
So think about that concept, because it's always great to have a hiding spot that nobody finds you. But if you think about it, are you really winning? Because you're absolutely doing nothing the entire game. You're not being chased. You're not running around. And you're sitting alone the entire game. So yes,
it does suck. Yeah, no, it does suck.
Yes, you tricked and no one found you, but you're sitting there for an hour because no one can find you, and everybody else is having fun playing, and you're sitting by yourself. Yeah. So do you really win?
That was like Manhunt. Manhunt used to be like that too. I used to be like, everybody would be like, hey, let's go to this spot. I'm like, I'm going to climb up that tree. I'd sit like to 20 feet up into a tree and just be like, all right, dog, you can come down now. I'd be like, all right, cool. But yeah, so to find out who Big Daddy was, that'd be good. So here we get, man, there was like, that's one thing about this movie. There was like a lot of like cool scenes, but there was really no cool dialogue. Because usually whenever I do the opening clip, there's always like, hey, a little quippy line. There really was no dialogue, minus like the people saying, hey, Frank, you shouldn't do what you're going to do at the end of the movie, which we kind of talked about already, but that was like all that it was. But this scene is like, I wanted more of this scene than I'm about to show. Like when he has that change of heart, when he's like, don't do it, just stay in the car. And he goes and he badass saves Ava and her daughter, man. When he runs up to this guy, handgun to the stomach, shoots the guy under the tractor trailer. Oof. How's he not finish that guy off?
Okay, wait a second. Okay, so He just literally lit up about 7 people. The butcher was standing right in front of him, and he only gets his cheek.
I guess it did the old like in and out, like went through his mouth. But
no, because they didn't show a hole in his cheek. He just has like a scar later on.
Yeah.
So he just literally like nailed everybody that was so far. He was standing in front of the butcher and he missed him. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But yes, that scene, like, he's awesome. Like, he does that job very well. Like, to play that action role, it really is a shame that he has not made more movies himself, because I think he could have definitely handled it.
No, I know.
But
I
yes,
think that role for him, like in other movies, he could do any type of movie, like
absolutely,
and be that guy.
Absolutely. And I did like that scene in the car, because like, you see the dilemma of the hero, who knows that what's going to happen if he gets involved. It's not going to be an easy night. He wants to do what he wants to do. He's out there to purge this, one person, and you see like him contemplating what he's going to, like, he doesn't want to do it. Should I do it? Don't do it. Don't. And he's talking to himself, out loud. And I thought that was very cool, because you knew eventually
just drive, just fucking drive. Yeah.
But someone like him, it's like an addiction. He can't just drive. He has to get out there and be the hero.
Yeah, he's a former cop. He can't see innocent people. And what's weird, because later in the movie he says to them, I saw the way you fought back. And I know they did sort of fight back, but they were about to just get shot. But at that point, they were like, done.
But, okay, so he went there to save them. He kills everybody, and then he was planning on leaving him there.
He was going to leave them, yeah.
So, like, what was the point of saving him then?
So they still, I guess, had more of a fighting chance because they were going against the military, which is like against the rules, because that's not
You have
what
2
it is.
women that are not armed out in the streets during the purge. They're not making it.
Well, they can get that truck now and use the machine gun. That's what they should have done at that point.
No one did. They should have sat there and waited.
Yeah. Just hang out. One spot. A corner. Stand in a corner. Even though I know you can't run, you can see what's coming at you.
That's a mistake that most in movies. They always are on the run instead of staying in one spot, because they're never going to check the same spot twice.
Yeah.
So, and then at one point they run by a dumpster that had a dead body in it. Wouldn't that be the perfect place to go?
Oh, I know.
Like, no one else was going to go back in there. They already dumped the body in there, so that's like safe.
I would hide next to it and be like,
next to it, I go underneath it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then how about the couple gets in the car? And again, you don't trust anyone else. And they have to be like, oh, no, we're not purging. But how do they shoot them?
How do they know that they can trust him? Even though he just saved them. Like, the way they talk to him the rest of the movie. I mean, if I'm Frank at this point, they are annoying. Like, they're slowing him down. They're stopping him. He's running out of time to do what he wants to do, that he's really passionate about doing. They're annoying him. I think it would have been funny if he just turned around and said, I can't deal with this anymore, and just shot them all. And just went on his way.
Yeah.
Because, like, how did they, like, because they really were pushing his buttons. I mean, and how many times did he try to leave them and he couldn't?
Yeah. Or they pulled him back in with lies. They lied to the man that saved.
Okay. And you're going to admit that was a lie at that point, like, and think like he's going to be okay with that? Like, you're taking such a gamble, again, you don't know him. They knew him for 30 minutes, and you just lied to him. That's the only reason why he took you there. And you lied to him. He probably, in the real world, he would have killed her.
He would have killed her, yeah. Yeah. You're like, I know you're easy in the eyes, Ava, but I'm going to shoot you right now for lying to me.
Did they even hook up? Did they hook up at all?
No, not at all. None of that happened. No, it was one of those movies that there was nothing like that. There was no interest at all.
The sister, the friend. No, but I thought the friend, when he left to change his shirt, that the father gave him that fit perfectly. The shirt that he put on, it fit him perfectly. And the guy was like a soft old man. So I don't know how that fit.
Soft old man.
But the friend literally went after him behind, like followed him. I'm thinking like, oh, she's totally hitting on him. No, she went there to do some drugs.
Yeah, pop some pills. she had a lot on her plate. I love that you said soft old man. Is that how people describe themselves? Like when they're older on a dating site, it's like, hey, describe yourself. My name's Bill. I'm 75. What about your body type?
Wait.
Soft?
Wait, you think 75-year-olds are on dating sites?
Why wouldn't they be?
They're not a date. First of all, they don't even know how to use the computer.
No, 75-year-olds can probably use the computer nowadays.
They're not on dating sites. They're on companion sites.
Companion sites. Old and horny. Oldandhorny.com.
Well, all right, fine. He wasn't so... Well, listen, old people get soft. They lose their muscle and they just...
So they're you mean soft as in...
Oh, you
on multiple levels.
You,
soft as in muscles and soft as in muscle.
What? Oh, muscle.
So then at this point, this is when they're in the kind of arguing about like, oh, what should we do? And then Frank's like, you guys just stay in the car. And then the daughter realizes that not James Brolin's like alive. Hey guys, we got to start going. And then when they get into the car and they start driving, the friggin' his car that you thought all this armor was like badass. No, it's ripped to shreds by this thing. It was like, I think when he saw the bullet, he said it was like piercing armor. So it went through the engine.
So, I mean, like they really like made the car look so souped up and and it lasted how long? Did nothing.
Oh.
And he barely uses it. Like then he loses the car in 2 seconds. Like that car that looks so cool. It'd be like a Mad Max kind of thing that he figured he would be with it the whole time. No. It's barely in the movie.
Yeah. Can he claim insurance on that? Like, is that something like Geico will cover?
Well, I would assume that if you're putting bulletproof and like all that armor on there, insurance would go down. It's a safe car.
I would think. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 100%. And then the Geico Gecko could be like, "Oh, sorry, mate, we don't cover armor piercing bullets." It's like, oh, what the fuck? It's during the purge. Like, what do you mean you don't cover that? It's like the home insurance company in Poltergeist. Still my favorite thing ever. What do you mean you have to see the house? It's gone. It's in a different dimension. Oh my God. Amazing. So then at the same point, they're in that somehow they knew where a body shop was because they look like they pulled into a body shop and the car's all jacked up. So then Ava calls her friend, the horny waitress. She goes, oh, my friend lives not that far from here. We can go there. She has a car that we can use. And then right when that happened, what happened?
Well, he was leaving them once again. So this was like, I think.
He was already leaving then. You're right.
He was leaving. So it was only the second or third time that he's trying to get rid of this group to do his thing, which, listen, when you find out what he's trying to do, I understand. You have a chance to get, and yet he once again can't because this girl tricked him, says, if you help us, we'll get you a car. She has a car. So, okay. Then
pull him back in.
Pull him back in.
And he's in. He's like, a car. And then I love that he kept, what was great about him? He didn't like trust them at all. Because how many times did he ask about the car?
Yeah.
Even when they were at the apartment, he's like, you need me that car? I need that car now. You need me that car. Like even at this part when she said car, oh, she had a car? We can use it? Are you sure we can use it? Yeah, she said we can have it. Okay.
Now, I mean, shame on him, though, because her friend lived like in an apartment, right?
Yeah.
How many people that live in an apartment in the city? I don't mean like in the suburbs, in the city having a car.
It's rare. No,
very rare. Right. So, I mean, he should have realized that.
He should have been wise to it. Former cop. He should have known that was BS.
Yeah.
He should be like, oh, what block did he live on? Hard to find parking over there. Alternate side. I don't know. Could be difficult. And then we have, so then you have how about the fat lady? You know, like the fat lady shooting, like randomly?
She looked like she was just a jilt. Like she either got fired from her job or her husband left her. There was one of those things that she was just, out of control.
Or both. I can see both.
And okay, so where did she get the gun? Because I don't think she doesn't look like someone that was planning on purging. She looks like someone that was kind of forced to purge because something happened to her.
Yeah. No, she was crazy. And then the one part that really scared the shit out of me, like besides the sniper guy that we saw earlier, the other part that scared the shit out of me was when he was like, when you had one of the couples, when he was like, you know what? I think we should go this way. This is the fastest way to get to her friend's apartment. And he takes that step in that trash, and it's a friggin' trap. And he gets pulled down.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to lift him up in the air. It scared me even more that it wasn't that, because it was so tight that they couldn't get it off at first. Man, that part was scary.
And how many times did he tell him shoot the trap? And it took him that long to shoot the trap.
Did, yeah. So I looked at IMDb. I was going to look up that guy's name to see what he is. His name's Zach Gilford. His name's Shane. But Big Daddy is the guy.
The butcher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't in much.
No.
He was in Fast and the Furious, actually.
Oh, ugh.
Traffic. Plays a cop a lot.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, he didn't play
Makes
cop
sense.
in this movie.
Huh?
He didn't play cop in this movie.
He's some kind of military. They never really said what he was.
He was a butcher.
Well, no, he wasn't really a butcher. He just, for some reason, wore a butcher apron.
He was a butcher. Why would he wear a butcher? Wait, why would someone wear a butcher apron if they're not a butcher?
That's true. But why would a random butcher be in charge of this big military operation and be operating that machine gun? Because
I feel that if things went his way, I feel like he might have been like a cannibal.
Dude, I was thinking we kind of like collectively said this when we figured out we were going to do this movie a while back. We were like, I never watched one of these because I thought they were like hostile.
Yeah.
And that would have been very hostile-ish if they were like hunting people for cannibalism, and that would have fit that he was a butcher.
100%. So that's why I thought something like that was going on. And again, they really didn't give him a big role. I mean, they made it look like he was something like super crazy and whatever's going to go on in that truck, because you didn't see what was in the truck outside of the machine gun. So I thought they were going to do some kind of gross things, and yeah, it never panned out.
Yeah. And another badass part. So like after this, they're running around again, like really just running around for the rest of the movie until they get into the apartment. But they find like that empty SWAT truck that doesn't work, and they see in there all the like the advanced like equipment. They could see traffic cams. They could turn off the street lights, like all these different things. But then from there, because then they see that gang show up again, that gang's coming. But when they're waiting in that alleyway and they see again a bunch of random purgers, and they're just trying to like, he's looking at them, giving them like kind of like military signs, like calm down. And then you get a freaking rat that comes up, jumps on the girl, she screams. And I love what Frank, dude, that's why I love this guy. Because a scene like this to me is like so like Arnold-ish. The fact that he gives up his gun for a second, you're like, what is he doing? And the guy comes over and he chokes him out. Like, that was awesome.
But how does the gang keep, like, how big is this gang? Because they keep finding them. So, like, how big is the gang? Like, is it because you only saw like a few people in the beginning of the movie, and then you saw the bus. And I mean, are they the same gang, the bus and the masked people? Yeah,
well, they're together because we see them in that scene when that couple realizes their car breaks down. We see them all together, and you see the guy get out with the god on his dead president's mask.
Okay, so there's only a handful there, though. So I mean, like, how are they always able to find them?
I don't know. It's almost like comedic because there's so many times that the one guy, Shane, is like walking. And he's like, oh man, they're right there. And even the guy on the motorcycle comes up and he gets to the fence and he looks left and right, which he can't see down the alleyway.
Yeah.
But he looks left and right, and obviously they don't see them. But no, when he chokes that guy out, I'm like, holy shit, man.
Awesome. You don't see any kind of looting during a purge. Like, I would think
Which
that's
is
something
shocking.
pretty big.
Yeah.
Because if it's legal, I would think everybody would be doing that. They seem to be obviously more into murder than looting. Because wouldn't you want to set yourself off the rest?
All the laws are you can break. And then murder is the one that they mention explicitly when they do that purge announcement. But you can break the law. You can do it. You can rip all the tags off your mattresses, pillows. Yeah. You can do whatever you want.
That's your one time. That's one chance to rip the tag off the mattress, and no one's doing it.
And you can do whatever.
How many megaphones do they have that when they announce in the purge and have this? Because if this is nationwide, do they have one like every certain miles and have another one that's because it's so loud that everybody can hear it in all the houses.
Yeah, and we'll get to a part later that I think it's kind of funny with it. But no, you're right. There must be one every like few miles. It's so loud. Everybody knows when it starts and when it finishes. But no, yeah.
Okay.
So then we get, so then this is where, again, like you said, like, it wasn't like an annoying, I don't know if it was like annoying, but.
Well, the apartment?
They can't, no, just before that, but just like the whole relationship with Frank and everyone, that they're trying to like stop him from doing something that he's going to regret. Again, it's not illegal. Other people are doing it, but they say he's a good man, which they really don't even know the guy. No,
he just killed 15 people. Regardless, of saving them, he still killed 15 people. And so that's not really a good person. I mean, so like, they don't know him for anything. And they assume that, no, you're much better than this. Really?
And he opens up like one time in the whole movie, but I love that so many of his lines are, didn't we establish a no talking rule? And then she starts talking and he's like, I thought we weren't talking. You broke the rule.
Well, and it's always the kid. The kid is always the one that just has no fear and never listens. Every movie.
So here's something that I thought was going to come back twice. When Frank gives his chest to Ava's daughter, Kelly, when he gives the vest to her, dude, I thought we were going to get her getting shot. When obviously it's the opposite later in the movie. So we never got that. When he gave up the vest, you thought it was going to work both ways. Something happened to him later in the movie. He didn't have the protection. But with her, there was never that close call that you see in so many movies. Like when a guy gets shot and it's like, oh man, I had that necklace on that it stopped the bullet or something.
Well, really, the only person that had the close call was the husband, who had multiple close calls.
Well, I think he had a final call too.
Well, he did. Well, obviously, I mean, but he's the only one that had the trap. He had like another, like he's the only one that he was hurt early on in the movie. Like he's the one that basically got the most. No one else got hurt except for him, and he got hurt. He got close multiple times. And
this scene, he gets really hurt. So this is the scene when they're walking down, when they sneak down into they walk the subway tracks. And when they're walking down that, this is where the scene that Jasper Cole was in that got cut. And Izzy said it was like really brutal, like his kind of one-on-one with it wasn't with the guy that played Shane, it was with one of the bad guys. They totally cut it, but he's just randomly, you can see him for like a second as dead. When they showed all those homeless guys, and then while they're walking down the tracks, you hear like the people coming. And dude, that was kind of freaky, man. Like they started flamethrowering where all the homeless people were sleeping, and they start picking them off one by one.
It really reminded me of the Warriors. Like there's constant gangs somewhere else coming as they're trying to get across from one part of New York to the other.
Yeah, and then this part where Shane, again, a guy that seemed kind of wimpy because he was kind of a bitch to his wife, when he was like, "Yeah, I guess we can do it." Because at first you're like, "Oh, they're breaking up, okay." And then he kind of like made some snidey comment when I'm like, all right, well, maybe that's why she's leaving you. Maybe it's like your problem, because he like had some shitty comment. But then he had this point. He was like, man, I'm overrunning. I don't want to run anymore. They're going to get us. And he stops and he's shooting a gun. You're like, holy crap.
Yeah, but he was he kind of saved everybody. Because he did
save everybody.
He did. So, I mean, and that's when he got hurt, right? That's the part when he got hurt. I mean,
he got ripped. He got shot like twice in the chest, and then right at that part, he kept shooting, and he got that ATV, shot that main guy, and then he turned in, and then somehow the ATV was filled with jet fuel because the thing exploded.
Yeah.
God, man. And then how about Frank's inspiration to him? He just said, 1, 2, 3, Shane, get up.
Yeah, the one thing of Frank throughout the whole movie, there's really not a lot of emotion. The only time he did show emotion when he was talking about his son, what happened to his son. Outside of that, they're really like he really, as much as he cares about helping these people, he's really again trying to get rid of them the whole time. So like, I don't think he has any connection. Like he doesn't really have a connection. Like they have more of a connection to him than he has to them.
Yeah, he's like almost like, okay, I did the helping of you this time.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Get out of my face. But even at this part, this is where the couple, she was like back in love with him. Like just from the purge brings people together, I guess, because he was like going to be back in her good graces. And then this is where, so time wise, this movie wise, it's 9 hours in already, because at this point it says 3 hours left in the Purge, and this is when they get to Ava's friend's house, which is the horny.
Well, before
waitress.
they got there, something else happens. I think it happens before there. That happens again in every movie. Doesn't the daughter fall and she can't get up?
No, the mom fell.
Oh, the mom
while they were running at that point. Yeah,
right,
no,
okay.
She fell. Yeah,
and she couldn't get up. Like this happens, and she's like crawling, like she didn't get hurt because she's walking fine after that. But why does that happen in every movie? Like they fall and where someone's chasing them and they just can't get up.
I always think about that in horror movies, like when we see
All the
that,
time.
in, like so many of those movies,
all the time.
I'm like, you know what? I wonder if, like, I don't know how you test it out, because obviously in a fake scenario, if we had an actor dressed up and he was going to come chase me and kill me, I don't know if you fall, do you have this crippling, like your body shuts down, like thinking like I'm fucked?
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say you get your ass quickly back up and you're running as hard as you can. I don't think your body shuts down. In fact, I think it does the opposite. I think you run faster than you've ever run before.
So what are these people doing then? Jesus, Jamie,
But it happens every movie.
You should have like a survival. Like you can have a 2-day class, 2-day seminar in Boca at like a Sheridan, and day 1 could be getting up after you fall, and day 2 would be like best places to hide. Are
you assuming Boca has a lot of like murders and people, or a lot of hide and seek?
A lot of
yeah. So all the old people that moved to Florida, that's the one thing they play at the nursing homes is hide and go seek.
Hide and go seek. They need to cut out the underside of their mattress, slip under, and then because they're so old they can't lift it back up.
That's foreplay to them, hide and seek. And then afterwards they're exhausted and they go to sleep.
Yeah, they play hide and go seek and they play Find My Teeth. Those are 2 games they play. So, yeah, and but that scene at the apartment, I was not expecting it. You kind of expected, obviously, something to like happen while we were there, right?
The problem with the scene, and listen, the second half of the scene was good because it was unexpected. Yes, you expected something to happen, not necessarily that,
not that.
But I think there was a lot of nonsense before then. Like, I mean, again, these people have been on the run. They've been shot at. One was shot at. One guy killed a bunch of people. They almost were thrown into the butcher's truck. And now she's like, let's sit down and have dinner. And they're having like a normal dinner. These people just went through hell. And then now everybody's acting like nothing happened. Like,
yeah,
they say, and then the friend is extremely annoying. She's almost up there with Ryan. Or is it Brian?
Brian.
Okay.
Yeah, no. She's definitely up there. And I think that was like the point of her character. But you're right. Like, it was almost like, I think it was for the audience to give you like that false sense of everything's going to be right. Even though we know a movie runtime is, like an hour 44, we know there's time left, but even they're kind of weird about it because they're barely eating and everybody else like hanging out and celebrating.
So this is what I thought was going to happen. One, I thought there was some kind of poison in the food because she wasn't eating and she was putting food. She kept saying, "Why don't you guys eat?" Kept pushing the eating. But the other thing I thought was going to happen is I thought the husband, the weird guy that was there, was going to do something because he just looked creepy.
He was. Oh, he looked so creepy.
Right.
And that's as the wife making fun of him.
Correct.
Which he was a nerdy guy.
He was.
So, and the lady, the waitress, the horny waitress.
Yep.
Not saying she was like attractive, but she had like something about her.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like maybe it was a more attractive guy, but the fact that she was sleeping with him and
his personality did not fit his look at all.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He was just so weird.
Yeah.
And her making fun of him, like, wouldn't people laugh at him while he was out there? And you knew it, like, right away. I knew that their relationship's really weird. Like, the fact that the sister-in-law was, like, touching his leg and saying, "Hey, don't make fun of him like that." I'm like, what?
But the whole house dynamic was weird. So at that house, you have the friend, the sister, the husband. They all have weird personalities. The wife of the weirdo had no personality whatsoever. The weirdo is sitting by himself. Like the other one's so over the top. Like, what's that scenario? Like, what's going on there? Well, we
weird dynamic.
We do know what's going on there, but
Yeah. No, what a weird dynamic. And like we mentioned earlier, like Frank, you thought the horny waitress was gonna like come and get Frank, but she was obviously, he noticed that stuff. So obviously he was like probably a cop, but it was probably more military, I would think, because just the way he like noticed everything.
So maybe he was a sergeant in the military.
Yeah, he must have been, because even like the badass stuff he did, you're not gonna do that. Like,
why? John McClane.
That is true.
Tango and Cash.
You're right.
Tango and Cash. Come on.
I guess you're right.
Sweet Chuck.
No, because that Sweet Chuck. Because that's what he says to Ava just before, when he asked for the car for the 75th time. He goes, what's going on with your friend over there? She's really nervous about something. She goes, no, she's weird. She's cool. Oh no, because she says she's saying a lot of drugs. She says, I know, she does stuff like that.
Well, yeah, but he was saying it more like, I think Purge related. He's like, she's taking a lot of drugs. You need to keep an eye on her. Like
yeah. And then that's when she went into the whole like, that, oh yeah, she parties like that, but she's fine. Yep. But then right out of the corner of the eye, after he's talking to the door, he's like, you're going to go places, kid. Make sure you keep your head down and be safe and blah, 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 blah. And then you see her walk over like out of, that's what was cool about it. Cause it was like off camera and we could barely see it when she walks up and she pulls the gun. She shoots her husband. Well, first she shoots her sister,
which it was very, cause you didn't see, like, it was like out of the blue. So it was a shock. But think about poor Frank. This guy has been trying to leave to do what he's wanted to do since the beginning we saw him. And now another situation happens where he can't leave again.
Oh, wait, you know what? What's even worse is she tells him just at this part, just before all this shit goes down, no car.
Yes.
So she says no car. And then the sister's like, the daughter's like, you should stay here.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm going to go. I'm going to get going. And then all that shit happened. You're right.
And he's stuck again. Like, it's like, he's almost like the Charlie Brown of the Purge. Like, everything happens to him and he's just trying to do his thing and he gets no respect.
And he's like Rodney. He's
like Rodney because they're lying to him. He's saving them and they're still lying to him. They're not letting him do what he wants to do. They keep getting in his way, And
you know who saves the day? Like the mom, the mother of the horny waitress, because she comes over and she must be an ex-cop because she did the push that point the gun to the ceiling. And that was kind of like, and then there was a standoff, and then that crazy guy that was cheating on his wife, and now the girl that he was sleeping with is dead now, and he thinks, you know what? Here's how I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to grab this rando girl and use her as a human shield.
Well, what is he supposed to do?
I don't know. Not that.
Well, it's not illegal. It's the Purge.
And it's true. Human shield. That's legal as well. Oh my God. But then Frank saves the day. He shoots him from behind the TV, a nice little angle, pops him off. And then, but he didn't shoot the lady, right? He doesn't shoot the wife. Because when they're leaving, she is complaining, not about like, you shot my husband. She's like, that was for me to do, not you.
Yeah, you're right. No, doesn't he turn around and shoot her? Or no, someone else shoots her. Someone comes to the door. Doesn't someone come to the door and shoots her? No one comes to the door?
No.
I thought she does.
Just Frank shoots him in the leg, in the back, like multiple times.
I thought she got shot.
No, because she's screaming when they all run out. She's screaming like that was for me to do. But then you do hear gunshots in there, so we don't know what's happening.
Right. Okay.
Maybe she's just like
they do go. The military goes in there eventually. So yeah. So she's probably dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they're probably all dead. Yeah.
Well, okay. So why would they kill her if they're like? Why are they still chasing them to use them for what we learn later on? Why they're using them? Why not just take the friend or the wife that's in that apartment?
Yeah.
Like why are they so stuck on this group of people?
Yeah, I don't know. I know at this point we know why. We don't know from earlier because there was no grudge yet. Why they were looking for that couple? But at this point, the Big Daddy is looking for them.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, he made it sound like he wants Frank Grillo for himself. For revenge for shooting him.
Yeah.
Yet he's treated as all the other ones that get kidnapped. Like he doesn't get, like, you know, they don't, like when they eventually get them later on, like this, you know, I didn't figure they could beat him up or anything. Nothing. He's just with everybody else.
Yeah, no, you're right. Why wouldn't he have set him aside?
Yeah, right.
Nope.
Nothing.
Yeah, because he had him. He was in that building.
Correct.
And obviously those other guys were, well, you know what? Those guys that were picking up people weren't working with the military. They were only working with the auctioneers, with the rich white people. So they probably didn't know that he got picked up. So just let's go to that scene real quick. So that's when Frank finally again gets convinced to work with them because he sees the military coming in and he goes, we have 30 seconds. You get over the fence and run. And he goes, you don't fucking wait for me. They run, they leave. He hangs out for a few seconds behind the dumpster. And we see the coolest weapon of the movie. It wasn't a weapon. That futuristic jackknife to open the door was like something on like Halo. It looked like so futuristic. But no, Frank jumps the fence and you're like, oh, this is great. And then the dead president's gang gets him.
Now, the dead president's gang had the other people there waiting also. They're all sitting right there. You didn't hear a peep from one person. You don't think any of them would have screamed when they were attacking them? Run, yelling, or like scared? Nothing. It was complete silence. Like it's like as if they just went up to them, put this, said shh, and everybody was quiet. And that's it.
Exactly, because there's no traffic at this point. There's no airplanes
No,
flying.
not even that though. Like the fact that so they're on the run, and if they got cornered by the mass gang, they would have surprised them. There would have been like screams of like,
oh yeah, that's
scared.
what I mean.
Yeah,
I know.
nothing.
That's what I mean. Nothing suppressed that. Like if there was traffic or something,
right,
then you'd be like, oh, they did scream, but you couldn't hear it over anything. You could probably hear a pin drop. There's nothing.
It
going
was
on.
extremely quiet.
Yeah. Oh man. But no, I know this part of the movie. I kind of I love the like scenario, like for Frank. I don't know, like if there was anything that could have been better, but you couldn't do the same things over and over again, I guess. But the fact when they get like they're getting how quick how they get moved is pretty cool.
Well, so I thought first of all, I do like the fact that they're all tied up and they're waiting for the curtain to come up, and then they're all like shocked at what's going on. They see everybody there. I thought it was an auction, but it wasn't an auction. Like they were auctioning off, but they were just auctioning the chance to hunt them. Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I thought they were auctioning off each individual person just to kill.
Yeah. No, it was like a group thing to go in there. I think it was 100. What was it? 250,000.
Okay.
I believe it was like 250,000. But I did like that they went from you're just gonna sell us, because the guy in the car was the guy. Oh man, I should know his name. His last name's like
the one who took the mask off.
Yeah, he's in a bunch of stuff. He was just in that movie. Had a really long name. He worked in a call center with Danny Glover. It got a bunch of awards like 3-4 years ago. It was like an independent film. A really long, weird name, but it like did very well. But yeah, so he's just selling them. But when they go from like outside in, and they say shut up, and they say get on your knees, and then out of nowhere, like the curtains open up, and there's all these people like at these nice tables and suits. You're like, holy crap!
And you have two sisters that are like bidding to hunt.
They're legendary. Like they were like, oh, I didn't think you. Finally, did you bring your swords? And they're like, yeah, we brought our swords.
So dumb.
Yeah,
so dumb. And you have an old lady running the show.
And she uses phrases of them like their property. Ooh, what an impressive lot. Like, what? They just random people you guys just found.
So
it's not like if I worked there, it's not like I'd be like, hey, you guys didn't handpick them. Like,
I really hated this for multiple reasons, because one, I mean, I hate the concept, but two, I don't think any of the old people that were watching, anything happened to them, right? The military, they just got arrested for, I think, for using, wasn't it? They got arrested. I thought like the military came in there, or I don't know.
No,
like I wanted like
nobody arrested.
Wasn't there a thing because they used a bomb? They used some kind of.
Oh no! What is it called? Used a bomb? Michael Kenneth Williams. His people used a bomb because the Purge somehow has they have a tracker.
A rule.
There's been a use of over level 4 grade Yeah.
So there's a certain level of bomb that you can't use, but you can use flamethrowers and machetes and machine guns and anything else.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
murder people, but whoa. That was really loud. That went bang.
Because you could kill more, if you could use a weapon that kills 10 people at a time, you can't do it. That's cheating.
Oh, Jesus. But no, so then they're in this pitch dark room. They got night vision. You have the people. I named all of them. There was Dad and two Chads, Rich, Ken, and Barbie, and then the Bobsy twins. Like that's who they look like to me. But Frank calms down the people, and dude, within seconds he goes off and he takes one out, gets the night vision.
So how bad of hunters are they? They have night vision, and there's what, like 6 of them, and literally they have no weapons, and they're all in one exact spot. So they know where they went. I mean, they pushed him in his room, and they know where they went.
Yeah,
they couldn't kill. They couldn't go after like one of them. Yeah.
Well, I think it's your scenario of like the rich people in the beginning that like paid the $100,000 to kill the father. Like maybe you have that like, oh, I can do this. Like, oh, I'm going to go on this big roller coaster. And then as soon as it goes click, 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 you're like, fuck.
So it's probably their chance to do it for the first time.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Besides the Bobbsey twins, maybe the other ones were new because remember the two Chads, it was their first time and they high-fived them like,
yeah,
dude, these guys are like 40 and they look like they were like, oh, cool. We're allowed to be involved.
Okay.
But no, some of the, not like, again, I wish it could have been better, but just to see him like battle, like grab that, the fights, when he takes on the two twins with the swords, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. No. Again, you take the concept and everything else. Now you have the Frank Grillo. Again, Frank Grillo, every part that he had where he had a chance to be a badass was great.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then even when he kills the dad, like after he kills everybody else, he kills the dad and then the two Chads run away. So it's just them and they're fine. But then the security guards and you had the auctioneer who Frank pissed off by just spraying like where they were watching out of the window with a gun and it was bulletproof glass. But then you have all the security guards coming on the other end and they're like, oh no, we can't do this.
Well, at that point, they're like, we're dead. I think they admitted they're dead.
And they were taking him out pretty good. And the way Shane died, just the only one to get shot from that door. And then Frank kills the guy.
Are you surprised? Again, this guy has almost died at least 3 times throughout the whole movie. The only one. No one else got hurt at all.
Crazy, really, when you think about it. Usually in movies like that, it's like a horror movie. You have a core group of people. Like somebody has to go. It's it's wild that it was just him.
Or the fact, even if it was just one person, he's the easiest one to kill. Like I would have thought like the daughter or something like a little bit more. Even the wife would have been more than Shane. Shane was the least likable guy in the whole, the whole group. So that was like an easy kill. Like I think it would have been better to have a little bit more of a shock as killed someone that's a little bit more important.
Yeah, Ava. I think Ava would probably have been the good one because the daughter had the more of the future and Frank spoke to her more like on that level.
And that might have pissed Frank off even more.
Yeah. But his last words, Shane, he said, I love you and I'm sorry for everything. And then
you know what? That's kind of crappy though. Because now the wife is like, oh, what could have been? If I didn't push him to get this divorce, we wouldn't have been on the strip.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was his last dig. Like he's like, you know what? I'm going to make her feel guilty.
But what happens with her, and then right after this is when the gang shows up, Michael Kenneth Williams and his gang, and then they start fighting back, and they're getting ready to leave. He's like, don't worry, we'll hold down the fort here. And they're already getting ready to leave. And Shane's wife goes, I want to stay and fight. And you're like, that's pretty badass. And they're like, we'll take care of her. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, the scene kind of reminded me of Pulp Fiction when the Gimp scene and he gets all his guys coming here. Like when the way they barged in and like that you knew that it wasn't going to be pretty.
No, hell yeah. And then they carjacked the auctioneer lady. And he even says, like, I should shoot you right in the head or something. And then she starts running away.
See, like, he should have at least shot her in the leg or something.
Why not? Yeah,
Just give her something.
Yeah.
Something to remember this night by. Because I don't think she
What
learned
are
her
you-
lesson.
What are you getting paid that you can live the rest of the year, the other 364 days, and like be able to like sleep at night? Like, oh, mom, how'd you get that $50,000 bonus? You're just an auctioneer on Sundays at antique shows. It's like, I was auctioning off people.
Yeah, no. All right.
Ooh, what a lovely group we have today. It's like a bunch of candlesticks that are from 1842.
See, honestly, the wife should have killed her. That would have been a good little revenge. Because I feel like the wife didn't get, like, even though she stayed, we didn't see her get her revenge for her husband. And I think that
it would have been good to see that. It would have been good to see her take a gun right away, shoot, kill someone, and be like, I'm going to stay with them.
No, or like, like Frank lets this woman go, and then all of a sudden, as she's running, you see her get shot and fall, and it's the wife comes out and shoots
That
her.
would have been good. Yeah. So then we get to the crux of what this whole movie is about. Frank going to the house of a drunk driver. I think it was like 3 times the legal limit.
Yeah.
Killed Frank's son.
Yep.
So that's where Frank is. And the fact that Frank was there 2 weeks ago and he broke in and disabled the back door is wild.
He's a man of many talents.
Man, yeah, former security. But the fact that like the way this house is covered with security, that there was no like camera on that.
And the fact that like he was able to be able to break that door, to make him. So I mean, yeah. But
there's only 5 minutes left in the purge at this point.
Is it really? I didn't even see the time. So they had to rush a lot with this part, but it definitely made you think what he's doing, because he was pretty violent. Yelling at the wife, yelling at the guy, sneaking in their bedroom. I wasn't sure, what was going to happen.
And this is where I wrote, like, obviously I liked his action parts, but then that's what I wrote, like, man, why is he not getting bigger roles? Like, even in those, like, straight to Netflix movies or, like, Tubi or any of those, like, crime ones, like, why isn't he in these roles? Like, those movies that Bruce Willis was doing, and I know all those producers are going to get in trouble for, like, kind of taking advantage of him, like, with what was going on in his head. But like those movies that I've seen a bunch of those that I actually sort of enjoy some of them. Yeah. Like, why isn't Frank in those starring roles? Because in this scene, like you said, how violent he was. Yeah. And like what he was saying to the wife and to the husband, like get on the ground, pulling the knife out and like,
I've been trying to get him for the podcast, so I'm still working on it. So yeah, he would be awesome.
Well, hopefully he listens to a few minutes of this of us like professing our like badass love for him. But no, that whole scene, and then you see what do we get? The Ava and everyone, and they were trying to say like you're better than this, and he walked out of the house, and he didn't do it.
Did you think he didn't do it, or I thought he might have like just maybe like shot him or shot his hand or something? I thought he did something. I didn't think he killed him, but I thought he was like left him on mark.
Yeah, no, I didn't think he did anything, but I didn't expect the next part.
No, that was pretty cool. That was
very unpredictable.
Yeah,
the fact that he got lit up by the butcher or the Big Daddy.
How'd they find him?
His plates. He said, "We've been on your tail the whole time," because they were close to him so many different times. So I guess.
But he's a cop. He would know if someone's tailing him.
Oh no! They said it in that part. They looked up his plates.
Oh, okay.
And they looked at his history.
His plates. Okay.
His plates. They looked up his history,
and they figured it was
easy
there.
Because of his son's death.
Okay.
They were like, "Oh, it was pretty easy to figure out where you'd be at the end of the night." Yeah.
I gotcha. Okay.
But, and then who saves his day? The guy who killed his son.
Pay it forward.
Hey, at least you could do. You kill my son.
Okay. See, now, what would have made it better is he shot him after the purge. And he goes to jail for that. And that's now Frank. He saves Frank, but at the same time, Frank gets revenge because the guy goes to jail.
Sort of, yeah. Because the guy, that'd be pretty good. Yeah.
See?
And then here's the silliest part to me. So right after this, everybody hears like all the gunshots. So like Ava, her daughter, run up. The military runs up, and they're all in like this kind of pointing gun standstill, and then the purge is over, and then they're like, all right, time to go home now.
Do you think that, like, I mean, imagine like, okay, you're even at the auction, you're hunting people, and then all of a sudden you just let them go home? Like, and what if you see them in the next day, like at the grocery store? The people that were hunting you, like, you know, and you like, hey, Bob, you know, hey, sorry you had your chance. Maybe next year, you know, you might get lucky.
Yeah, that's what I thought about. It was so funny that it was like went off, and then it's like, all right, guys, we're done. And then it's like they go and like, I almost killed you yesterday, man. I almost killed you.
And they're laughing at it like, yeah, I know.
And then I just love how corny the drunk driver was.
Oh.
Like, yeah, I have a car. I can drive in the hospital. And you're like, oh my God. Like, so the guy who murdered his son in that car.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yikes.
That's even crazy.
Well, Frank was like in a coma at this point.
Yeah, that's true. He
didn't know.
They could tell him afterwards of what kind of car it was. But yeah, so and that's the end of the movie. That's where it ends right there. So that was the Purge Anarchy. It's a movie that we were like slated to do for a while, so I'm happy we finally got it out of the way. And yeah, let's go to Jamie. Would you recommend somebody to watch this movie?
You know, when I first started this podcast, I'm like, you know, I was a little bit more negative with it. But the more we talk about Frank Grillo and his scenes, I think it's definitely worth watching. It's entertaining enough to watch the fact that he's such a badass. So like, you know, if you take forget the storyline, because I don't like the storyline for this one, but I love the Frank Grillo parts, and it takes you back to the 90s action movies. And I would say, you know, whether or not you're a Purge fan, like I said, I've only seen the first one and I don't remember it that much, but it's obviously very different. I would say, yeah, it's worth watch.
All right. Yeah. And if you get Frank, we can do the next one.
Okay.
Purge election year. But no, I agree. Like I really enjoyed this movie. Like when I watched it before I interviewed, I can't think of his name right now, Jasper. But when I interviewed Jasper, I had to watch this movie and a bunch of other movies like MacGruber that he's in. And I just love this movie because I'm telling you, I really thought this was a gore fest kind of like,
so did I.
It's not that I hate those movies, just that when that's the point of the movie, when that's the only like redeeming quality is like, oh, lots of blood, then it's not, I don't know. That's not for me.
No, it's more suspense than anything, I guess. So it's, it's not what I expected. And again, I don't think the first one was gory either. I think, you know, again, it was more of a suspense.
Yeah, it was more like, I think the first was more like a home invasion sort of.
Yeah, it was.
That's what they're doing is like going after him. So that's why I like the concept of this one, and the next one's kind of like that. Like from what I saw so far, I watched like the first 30 minutes. I'd say definitely like check it out. Frank Grillo, guy really needs to. I don't know how old he is. He's probably gonna be in his 50s.
He can still do it.
Oh no, yeah. Bronson was doing it mid 60s, man.
Stallone's still doing it.
Stallone, he's doing it.
He's trying to do it.
The Tulsa one's going to be better than the superhero one.
Well, yeah, the superhero one was not good. It's a kid's movie, so I mean, if you're a kid, you'll enjoy it. So
I don't know if a lot of kids are listening, but if you have kids, please tell them about that one. But so the next sequel that we're going to be covering is Return of the Killer Tomatoes. And for that one, Jamie got a really cool guy because at first it was just like, we want to do one of these Killer Tomato movies. So he got the guy that was a cinematographer, and you're like, wow, that's so cool. And he also worked on like a ton of other movies, like The Water Boy, doing camera work. He just worked on Cobra Kai, Walking Dead, like so many of these shows. I'm like, wow, this is really cool because of the movie end. And then I put on my sports loving hat. He was like big in NFL films. He won an Emmy, like a sports Emmy. And he lived in Morristown like for a while, like when he was working in NFL films in Jersey. So it's pretty cool talking to him about that and talking about Return of the Killer, a movie that is like, again, a thing that he loves and loved talking about. Great stories about working with Clooney, a scene in the movie because they were kind of writing it while they went. A scene from the movie that really it was stolen by Wayne's World years later. Same kind of scene with George Clooney. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, that's going to be an interesting one.
Another, our second John Aston movie. Teen Wolf 2 and now this. So that should be a lot
best. He's the best.
Oh, one of the best ever. So yeah, so don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.